Hello, influential goddesses. Welcome to another day at our Influential Family podcast. I hope you had a great weekend. Today, I'll be talking about a topic that happened to me recently, which is in March, and I want to share with you guys the lessons that I've learned from it, which I feel that would be really helpful for many of you who are burning out from doing all the work but are still not getting the results that you desire and you're losing your sense of direction and hope. And I hope that this episode finds its way to you and guide you to getting out of this slump and moving you and your business forward. Okay, so let's just dive straight into it, shall we? You guys know that I'm all about being vulnerable and open to the struggles that I face, and it's not always sunshine and rainbows, especially when you've not only got a business to run, but also a life to live. Shit can get real tough, and it's easy for you to lose sight of your vision, especially when you're working your butts off but still don't see the results coming in. I know how that feels, and that happened to me in March. So that was exactly what happened to me for the whole of March. It was a pretty silent month as compared to January and February. I still do have projects and stuff going on here and there, but I wasn't feeling satisfied. I was not feeling my 100%. I felt sleepy most of the time, and all I wanted to do was to lay in bed and chill. But I know and I have this belief that if I don't get out of bed and do the work, my business will stay stagnant. My income is determined by how much effort I put into my business. So the whole of March just felt like a slow and relaxed month. I didn't think much about it, or rather, I choose to ignore what my body was trying to tell me. And I could feel it so well in my body and my intuition that in my gut feeling, I know that something was wrong. My body is trying to tell me something, and I talked so much about building an intuitive business, but here I was losing touch and losing sight of my vision, ignoring all sorts of red flags that my body was trying to warn me about. So this is how my routine would go every day in March. I would get up every day at 11 a.m. or later, which is so different from my usual timing of 7 a.m. I would scroll through my social media, have a hard time getting up to start my day, and usually by the time I drag myself to be in front of my desk, it would already be 1 p.m. So half the day gone just like this. You bet I was frustrated by giving myself the permission to use all sorts of excuses like, oh, I need that rest to function properly. My body is telling me to rest up and I'll sleep earlier and get up earlier tomorrow. As you already know, it didn't happen at all. You know, the promises that tomorrows make, we know that tomorrow will never come, but we still say it anyways, right? And I was like that. So I went back into the past routine of snoozing my alarm and sleeping in till I couldn't fight the guilt any longer. I know those were excuses, but I made up to cover my ass. So deep down, I knew that if this were to carry on to April, May, and June, and eventually till the end of 2022, I would be going nowhere and would end up entering 2023 feeling frustrated and lost. So even though I know all this, I still let things be the way it is and shove these thoughts away for as long as I could by covering up with more excuses. So as the week goes by, I was getting more drained out from the constant need of forcing myself to get shit done even though I didn't feel like it. I did it for the sake of doing it. I didn't want to face the actual root of the problem. I did try to journal though, but it turned out that I was trying to convince myself and justify my laziness instead of actually thinking of solving the problem. I felt better, but my actions didn't change. Matter of fact, it got worse. I got lazier, the to-do lists were piling up, and I was feeling like shit. And of course, all the work that I do and fail to do was reflected in my results, which is a quiet and low month. Coming to the last week of March, the week where I gave in to the guilt and the negative self-talk and called myself out. I surrendered and was finally tired of my own bullshit. Now, this is where things changed. I asked myself this question, the question that I should have asked at the start of March. Why is it that even though I know exactly what I need to do, but I not only choose not to do it, I even went to the extent of justifying why I shouldn't do it? What is actually stopping me from achieving my goal? So, as ridiculous as it sounds, and I know it's crazy, while the majority of the people who stay stagnant are lost because they don't know what to do, here I am choosing not to do it and going the extra mile of convincing myself to not do it. Why on earth would I actually do that? It was because convincing myself to not do the work was easier than actually doing the work itself. Duh, like simply put, I was lazy and unmotivated, which was something that nobody would actually want to be associated with, right? Same for me. It was so hard for me to admit that I was lazy because I was never a person that was lazy and I don't want to be seen lazy because it's just it's just like so bad, that the fact that you're being called lazy and you have to tell yourself that, hey, you're being lazy. It's not an easy thing to do, right? And I mean, who wants to be seen as a lazy person, right? I knew that it was a surface level answer though, and that was something deeper than that. So I kept digging. I tried and continued to pry further by asking myself, why would I be lazy, or where is the resistance actually coming from? Which got me to the answer of I'm lazy and unmotivated to do the things I know I need to do because I want to avoid being rejected. I fear success. Now we are getting somewhere, right? I listed out all the possibilities of why and where this resistance is coming from. And there was one that actually stood out. And oh, if your answer is I don't know, which is very natural. I had that when I was thinking about this question as well. But it got me thinking that, if you want to set your intention of getting to the root of the problem and commit to not taking I don't know for an answer, you gotta keep asking the uncomfortable questions and it'll get you somewhere because that's where it got me. I got to the question that really was the key to changing every single thing. So the last key question that got me to the root of the problem was where did this fear come from? Was it based on past experience? It got me to the root of the problem, which was I had fears because I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted. And that's why I feel unmotivated and I became lazy. So, in simple terms, I needed to see results to be able to keep doing the work that I do. And that was the key that unlocked the truth. This changed my thought, which then gave me a chance to work on my actions and eventually it'll show through my results. So, that shocking discovery of I wasn't doing the work because I needed to see the results was what I needed to work on. I knew that I needed to work on that because it was major, it was huge. It just didn't make sense. It's like saying my goal is to harvest apples, but I want to see the growth of the apple tree before I decide to water and add fertilizer to the soil. It's just not how it works. So that helped me to put things into perspective. The answer was actually really simple. It's to work backwards. It took me less than an hour to figure this out, and all I had to do was to sit myself down and answer some uncomfortable questions and face the hard truth, but I choose to chug it aside because it kept me feeling comfortable and obviously not for too long, right? I'm hoping I'm making sense and I'm hoping some of you may be resonating to this and you'll find it really helpful about what I'm gonna say next. So working backwards, what does it actually mean by that? Remember how I mentioned in episode 1 that your thoughts lead to your actions and eventually will show up in your results? So to solve any struggle that you're facing or correct any results that you're unhappy with, all you got to do is to work this backwards. So you look something like the results, then the actions, and then your final thoughts. So let me explain further. Let's say your goal, which is your results, is to hit 10K months, but no matter how hard you work every day, non-stop, doing everything you're told to do, you're still at $0, zero client months. Okay? So now take a look at your actions and ask yourself this question. What do I actually need to do to get clients? And there's a second half to this question. You ready? In a way that doesn't get me burnt out. So why I say it's important to not get burnt out, because doing something that has resistance would not get you anywhere near your goal. Matter of fact, it's only gonna push you further away because it'll not only affect the quality of your work, but it also take a toll on your mental health, and all these will be reflected in your results that you see. So see how they're all interconnected. However, here's the catch. You got to be able to differentiate what is the task that you don't want to do because it's uncomfortable but gets you to your goal versus the task that you're not comfortable with doing, but there's an alternative way that gets you to your goal with less or zero resistance. So back to the question, what do I actually need to do to get clients in a way that lights me up and feels good to my body? You'll probably come up with something like, I need to be putting myself out there by having more conversations with my ideal avatar. Then ask yourself, are you actually really doing it? If your answer is no, then you gotta ask the key question that I mentioned previously. Why not? What is actually stopping you? Where is the resistance coming from? So if you do this correctly, you actually uncover the limitations that you need to work through the whole equation to play out according to your desired results. So if your answer is yes, strategy and approach is not working for you. So here's a tip for my lazy people, okay? Pair the task that you're lazy to do with something that you love. So for example, if you feel lazy to be replying to your DMs and you know that you need to reply to your DMs to be able to have conversations and get clients eventually, and your favorite thing to do is to go to cafes and just sit there and soak in the environment. So the simple thing is go to a cafe and reply your DMs there. Take a few minutes just to clear your inbox. So that is how you're able to combine two things and get stuff done as well. So if you're burning out from doing everything you're taught, but you're still not seeing results, then it's your strategy and approach that needs to change, which is why I created the social estate, where we ensure that the strategies aren't part of the equation because it works, and move on to getting rid of the limiting beliefs that allow you to leap and experience the next level evolution in your business and in your mindset. So if this is what you need, DM me and let's bridge the gap here. Don't keep going on to this endless loop of wasting your time on strategies that don't work and burn you out. Instead, find your distinct genius, the thing that you are naturally gifted with, and people need that. Okay, so that's what we do in social estate. So now that you've identified your desired results and know what actions you need to take to get there, let's talk about the most important part, the last part of the equation, which is your thought, your negative self talk and limiting beliefs, what I like to call your root limitations. So, of course, this doesn't apply to all. As I mentioned, if you're confident that you've done the mindset work because you've worked with a mindset coach, or you just know that you're in the right state of mentality, and you have this thought process that is naturally going to get you to succeed, then it's usually your strategies that are not that is actually affecting the equation. So if so, feel free to DM me again. As I mentioned, we can actually personalize one that works for you and most importantly feels fun to you. Anyways, back to your root limitations. Ask the question of, why are you not doing what you need to do? What is actually stopping you? We'll uncover these root limitations. So it's usually one of these two or even both: fear of failure and fear of success. So you fearing failure actually looks like, if I do the work, I might fail. I might face rejections and find out that I'm not good enough. Better to have the possibility of, if I do the work, then maybe I will succeed, than to risking discovering the ugly possibility of falling flat on your face, right? Unless you've done the work, you're likely to hear the nagging of these fears lingering around your every thought and action that comes to your mind. It's just part of life. So, unlike others, I won't advise you to try to talk yourself out of them. Instead, try this. Just notice the voices and feel the fears in your body. That's all you need to do. Surrender and not fight it. Let it be as it is and hear whatever it has to say. You don't need to get rid of them. They won't go far before they revisit you anyways. So the most effective way is to not expect that they'll be gone forever, but to acknowledge that they'll be here, and you have the power to control the way you view your fears. Acknowledge their presence, thank them for their intention of wanting to keep you safe, and then get busy with doing the things that you know will get you to your goal and walk alongside with fear. So, fear of success looks like, people will start to take away from me. Rich and successful people are selfish, they're up to no good. So this is where your goals and your thoughts are mismatched and you find yourself not hitting your financial goals. So this thought that you have stems from what you're being told by the people around you, mainly your parents. Growing up, you hear them saying that, rich people or success are just, it's no good, they're up to no good, they're bad. So you kind of have this mindset and you adopt their mindset. So what you can do is to recognize that this belief that they have around money and success is not your belief. It is the belief of the people whom you grow up hearing, which is your parents. Choose to do good and be committed to being successful so that you have the ability to give back to the society. You get to change the way your parents think about rich and successful people. Okay, so that's basically how you work backwards to change your results. So whenever you feel stuck, start from the results that you are seeing. Then move to think about what actions are you doing and not doing that is getting in your way. And lastly, what thoughts or belief comes up when you think of the actions that you need to take. And that is the root of the problem. So I hope this episode helped you to see how you can actually change your results within a short period of time, and that you have the ability to control every single part of the success equation. So here are some questions that you might want to write down and sit with. Number one is, what is the goal that you want to achieve? Number two, what is stopping you from achieving your goal or from succeeding? Number three, are you aware of the actions that you need to take to get you to your goal? If yes, why are you avoiding it? If not, what can you do to gain knowledge? Number four, what are some changes can you implement today? So replay it if you need to and really allow yourself to be honest when answering these questions. Move your business forward today. If you're doing the things that you're taught but it's still not seeing results, chances are it's your strategies, and I mentioned it before. So let me help you. DM me on IG or Facebook at engwenyi.co and let's get you building your influential empire. Alrighty, that's it for today's episode. Special announcement, I'm opening up 5 more slots for my one-on-one social estate program, so don't miss it again. DM me to see if you'll be a good fit. Other than that, if you're not in our private influential family Facebook group, you're missing out big time. It's free, so all the links can be found below. It will mean a lot to me if you could like, share, and subscribe anywhere you're listening to this so that we can continue to grow this sisterhood and connect with other goddesses. I can't wait for you to join the sisterhood.